Hello and welcome to The Reasons I'm Broke. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
And we're going to start off with DC Comics with Justice League number 13. This one has the introduction of Cheetah fighting the Justice League, mainly Wonder Woman. It's all about Wonder Woman's issue and trying to bring her down, and you kind of get a history of Cheetah.
I enjoyed this one a lot. I won't say it's my pick this week, but I liked the fact that, and I don't know a lot about Cheetah or Wonder Woman villains to begin with, but the fact that they made her friend, and that's why she has they even bring up that she's not even fighting at her best because she really, really doesn't want to hurt Cheetah.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of more information on the relationship between Wonder Woman and Superman, but it's not really going anywhere yet. Maybe it'll play some more in the Trinity War, but...
That's because Superman's so in love with Batman. That's why he stopped the kiss.
Well, supposedly they only kissed.
It's because he was thinking about Batman. He stopped and he's like, Diana, this just isn't right. You're not Batman.
At the very end of the issue, you get a good backup, a lead up to Justice League of America, which is going to be formed, I think, during the Trinity War or when the Justice League breaks up. I think some of the stuff that they are setting up now will lead into it, like Aquaman and Batman fighting over who gets to lead the Justice League. I think that's pretty obvious. Batman, of course. He knows everyone. He knows what their powers are. His job is to go, okay, you guys use your powers and do all this because I need to tell you how to use your powers because you guys don't. And I'm going to go figure this out and figure out exactly what's behind this giant disaster that we're fighting.
Another thing I liked about this comic, too, is, of course, when you think about the Justice League, everybody thinks about the big three, of course, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. And it does have... It's more Superman and Wonder Woman, but you also have that little bit with Flash and Cyborg. And I thought that was really sweet. I thought it really played into their characters well. So definitely a good issue, guys. Pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely recommend it. Moving on to Catwoman, number 13. It's a prologue to the death of the family, but just a heads up, once again, this doesn't really tie into Death of the Family that much. You can probably jump right into the Batman number 13 and not read the Catwoman 13 or Batgirl number 13. None of that ties into Death of the Family too much.
This one was my skip of the week. It was really bad, guys, and I've been trying to defend the Catwoman series because I love Catwoman and I love Batman with Catwoman and that dynamic, but this was really bad.
The writer to Catwoman is Ann Nocenti. She is the new writer after they changed up the entire creative team. We don't even have Guillaume March on the art anymore. The new artist is Rafa Sandoval. I don't think the art isn't as good, but the art isn't the problem here. I think it is the story. And she plans on taking Catwoman out of Gotham City and completely moving her out of the state, whatever state Gotham City is. Catwoman's just been on a little bit of a spiral downward,
Honestly, I think I may only give it one more week. I think I'm done with this series.
Yeah, so that's your pass of the week. I would probably agree. That's definitely a pass. And Minutemen, number 4 of 6, on the other hand, by Darwin Cook. Awesome book. Still great.
Amazing.
One of the better Before Watchmen stuff. Before Watchmen has been a pleasant surprise overall. What were your thoughts on this one? I know it definitely gives you your dollar's worth with all the dialogue in it.
Yeah, there was a lot of dialogue. This is my pick of the week, actually. I thought they did a fantastic job. They interwove pretty much 3 different stories into this one comic, and it all flowed into each other seamlessly, and it was phenomenal.
It also gave you some really cool history on the comedian. Tells you exactly why he's so jaded, what happened to him in the war, and he really cared about these 2 people that ended up saving him in the war, and it all goes to shit in front of him. It's funny, and that's why it kind of goes into the comedian, because that's what's funny about the tragedy. They saved him, and then, you've got to read it, guys. It's really, really good. And I read Simpsons Comics number 195. I'm going to go ahead and say pass on this one. Since Catwoman was your pass of the week, Simpsons number 195 is mine. It's, of course, by Bongo Comics. Homer ends up in this hippie ball from these neighbors.
Hippie ball?
It's a hippie ball where they go in and they meditate and they're shut off from the outside world, right?
Oh, I'm thinking a ball like princes and princesses and like Cinderella kind of ball.
See, that would have made for a good story.
It's a hippie ball.
They go inside this ball and they meditate and they're shut off from the outside world. One of them says, "Oh, that's pretty sweet, man." Homer thinks, there must be candy in that ball. Goes inside, gets rolled away, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he gets out, and he just happens to end up in like a Renaissance medieval fair fight type of thing, and he thinks it's a time machine, and he goes back inside the ball, it rolls away again, and he ends up surrounded by during the Civil War. So he's like, "Oh, I went back further," and even further, he ends up in a junkyard. He thinks it's in the future all of a sudden. That's the entire story. There's no little backups like there normally is, like in the Bart Simpson comics. So I'm going to go ahead and say pass. It wasn't that funny. There weren't a lot of great moments in it. Definitely pass on Simpsons comics. That's for me. And on the Marvel side, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man number 16. This is still part of the United We Stand arc. And it ends with what everyone knows happens. Captain America becomes the president of the United States when the entire country is in turmoil. This issue is especially important, not only because you see Miles, the new Spider-Man, use his web shooters a lot more, which he got from Peter Parker in the alternate universe, which is in Spider-Men. I won't explain exactly what went on there, just read it. Spider-Men is pretty good if you want to see how he got his web shooters. He's also trying to join the Ultimates. For anyone that doesn't read the Ultimate Universe, they are pretty much the Avengers of the Ultimate Universe. And at first, Captain America says, "No, you're only 13. But, of course, something interrupts them. Hydra tries to take over, and they both fight off Hydra. And Captain America says, "All right, you know what? You've got what it takes. You can join the Ultimates. Meet Iron Man and Thor." And yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying the Ultimate Spider-Man. I can't wait till the United We Stand stuff ends, because I think Spider-Man has been the best when it's been about Miles dealing with his parents and more recently his uncle and his uncle's death. So Ultimate Spider-Man, it's good. What was your favorite book this week overall?
Minutemen.
Minutemen?
Absolutely.
I agree. Minutemen was really good.
Mm-hmm.
We also read Saga. We talked last week about how we were going to review it. And I know you really liked it, if you want to start off on it.
I did. It was a love story, and I love the love stories. But overall, it was a fantastic story. They have side narration, which is, it opens with a baby being born. And the narration is by the baby, we're presuming sometime in the future. But it was woven together really well. The worlds they create, the people they create, I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, Saga was great. The trade is only $9.99, everyone. Before we even review it, just make sure you track down a copy because you're going to love it. It's only $9.99. You get a lot of story in it. The art is fantastic. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see a couple of those pages, a couple of the panels. They look great. And the story's well written. It flows well. Good pacing. The first trade doesn't end up on too much of a cliffhanger. You kind of get a good sense of all the characters. The mercenary. His name is The Wise. Not Wise, The Wise.
The Will.
The Will, I'm sorry. The Will. It is a little bit explicit, though.
Yeah, don't read it in a public place, guys. I had to read it at Starbucks. Kind of awkward. A little awkward.
It was really funny because she got to the one page where there's literally a splash page of two television people having sex. What's his name? Prince
Robot. Prince Robot the Fourth.
And it's like straight up doggy style.
Yeah, it's human bodies with TV heads.
Yeah.
And I flipped this open in the middle of Starbucks. I'm sitting right by the door, so anybody who walks in, it was fun times, guys.
And she closes it and she goes, "What else? What other pages are there like this? Because I don't want to be reading this and have other people." I'm like, I don't know. When he gets to the sex planet, there's some other stuff.
I don't know, somewhere in there.
And then she gets to it and she barely has it open. She's kind of peeking in at the word bubbles, reads it, and she's like, "Okay, next." And she's like, "Fine." Turns again, and there's like a slave owner with like a thong on, and she kind of looked a little bit awkward about it. But
do you want to read that at Starbucks?
But that wasn't as bad as like the rest of the books. I was like, it's fine.
Would you read that?
I would have read that at Starbucks. I don't give a damn.
It was awkward.
But we don't want to spoil too much of the story. The Saga series has been awesome, and I know a lot of people have been telling me to read it, and I finally did. I got around to the trade. I can't wait for Trade 2 to come out. I would get the single issues, but we got so many books as it is. Although with Catwoman going the way, we'll probably replace it with either Swamp Thing, Animal Man, maybe Saga.
All of it. Just, why not? We're already broke.
And A-Babies versus X-Babies, we'll actually end up reviewing that next week. We'll talk about it next week. We didn't get our issue this week. Yeah.
But I was so excited. They were adorable with their footy pajamas.
Yeah.
And
our favorite comic book shop, unfortunately, was shorted their shipment. So hopefully next week We'll get it. I'm sure we will. It's down on our subscription. But I'm really excited to read that. Story by Scotty Young and covered by Scotty Young as well.
Moving on to TV.
Oh, wait. I still want to talk about... I also read Ace Attorney, Miles Edgeworth Investigations. That's
Sparkles!
It's volume 2. It is a manga that comes out every... I don't know, I want to say like every 3-4 months when they get around to translating them. And it's based on the Miles Edgeworth video games that came out on the Nintendo DS, which are now available on the iPad, the old Phoenix Wright games. The Miles Edgeworth number 2 never came out here in the US, but it did in Japan. And the manga, it's original cases. If you just want the cases without... If you like the video games and you play them for the story mainly, and not so much to like figure out the puzzles and everything, then the book is perfect. It does it all for you. It's written in a way that you can't exactly figure it out. Kind of like in the game. There are moments in the game, both the Phoenix Wright and the Miles Edgeworth ones, where you're like, I never would have figured this out, and you just kind of click on like a
random
clue,
stuff.
and you're like, oh, that was right. And then the game acts like you were smart. It was like, oh, well, of course it was this piece of paper. It just happened to be flipped over when it was taped to the wall. And I'm like, what? Yeah, if you flip it over this way, you'll see that there's actually letters on this side. And I was just connecting all these dots, and I'm sitting here like, of course.
Rubber ducky, I don't know. Click random stuff.
Yeah, but they're good books. You get like 3 or 4 cases in them, if not 2. One of the cases is a lot bigger than the other. It's funny, well written, well drawn. And yeah, recommend it. The Miles Edgeworth and the Phoenix Wright. Now we can move on.
Okay, moving on to TV. We got some bad news for you guys. DC Nation pushed back to January.
Yep.
Is what, just get 2 episodes in and just cut us off.
Yep. Both
terrible.
Green Lantern, the animated series, and Young Justice ended on cliffhangers.
Yep. The kind of, silver lining, because I'm trying to be optimistic here, when it does come back in January, we're going to have the new Batman show.
Exactly. The new Batman supposedly will come back with it. From what I understand, bad ratings are what led to this being pushed back to January. Maybe they want to regroup and launch with the Teen Titans Go cartoon, I think is what they're going to bring with it. A bunch of new DC Nation shorts. I think now would have been a good time. I think they would have been fine. But I guess with the holidays, they don't want to run new episodes with the holidays when people are out of town. I don't know. But
well, another thing to consider, too, is we DVR everything, but how many times you run into 3 of those shows being recorded at once? What are they competing with right now as well?
True, Disney XD.
Right, you got the Ninja Turtles, you got Spider-Man comes on at the same time. While I think they still would have done well from a marketing standpoint, yeah, you probably will get more viewers if you wait till nothing else is on.
I wish they could air this stuff during prime time, because it seems like Young Justice is one of those shows. It's not a Saturday morning cartoon.
No,
you know?
No, that it's with this relaunch of, what do they call it? Young Justice Invasion? I won't say it's really dark, but it's, it deals with death and a lot of much darker things than you deal with typically in a Saturday morning cartoon.
I can't remember, is that before Green Lantern the animated series, or is that right after Green Lantern?
That's right after.
Series? Okay, because I was going to say, if they start off with that, I'm like, no wonder kids don't want to watch this. They're depressed by the time that's
sad.
over.
Oh, Robin's dead! Aqualad's a meanie!
But he's really bad. I don't know. I'm too confused. Screw Green Lantern. But yeah, it's coming later, and Kelly and I were talking about the Batman show that's going to come back as well, or that's going to premiere. It's going to be computerized, unfortunately.
No.
Not hand-drawn animation. But it's supposed to go back to the darker tones. Hopefully more in the way of the animated series from back in the 90s. But you never know.
Is Kevin Conroy voicing?
Nope.
Was he sick? Why not?
He must have been sick. Otherwise, why else would you bring him back?
I don't know.
Well, he costs too much. What doesn't matter. You pay him whatever he asks.
You sell him your firstborn.
Here you go. Now voice an episode, please. I'll make another baby. Just keep
whatever.
Recording. But it's supposed to use a couple of the more obscure villains in the series. I'm sure they'll eventually build up to like a Mr. Freeze or
Ra's al Ghul
or
the new Bane.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I'm kind of worried about. I never liked when a movie got so popular that it affected like the comics or the cartoon. Hope we don't see like a Bane with the new mask. Like I like the Bane, I like the Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was a fine movie. A lot of people hated it. It's my least favorite of the 3, but overall I still really enjoyed it. But I don't want to see like that Bane in this cartoon. I wouldn't like that. I want to see Give me the comic book Bane, fine, with the mask and the tubing. That's totally all right. But I know they're going to be using different villains. We'll see how it turns out. A couple of lines that we think have to be used. It's not a Batman cartoon unless Batman says some of the following. You go ahead, Kelly. You go ahead.
I am Batman!
Of course, he always has to say
always.
That. Sometimes, Alfred, I think I should just be done with it. It's got to be there. Because every Batman everything has to say that.
I still want to... Oh, no, I forgot his name. Oh, yes. Harvey. No. That was one of my favorites from the animated series.
Back when Kevin Conroy did a more like whispery voice.
The wispy Batman voice.
Harvey, let me help you.
We still have to see a bat glare. I know that's not really a line, but that's a staple.
Bat glare, yes. Even the comics have to do it more. Like, we just stares, bat glares. If he just bat glared Aquaman in that Justice League comic,
it'd be done.
Aquaman would be like, all right, you can lead. Totally okay. And Batman's like, fine.
Well, see, I think Aquaman's doing this just so Batman puts him in his place.
He likes that?
Yeah.
Likes a little punishment?
Yes.
So what's Superman's more about, like, the sweet side of Batman?
That's why he carries him princess style and stuff.
Saves him from everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, DC Nation hopefully comes back stronger than ever. I thought it was doing fine, but that's the bad news, everyone. In the meantime, enjoy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon, and, of course, Ultimate Spider-Man on Disney XD. If you have to pick one or the other, definitely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Another show that we haven't brought up, I just saw that it recorded today, and we haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it was Tron Legacy.
Yeah, the next season premiered today, was it? Yeah.
I guess it's on there.
Today would be Saturday when we're recording this, everyone. So, yeah, it's a good show, Tron Legacy. I thought the sequel was awesome. What was it called?
Tron Uprising?
Maybe it was Tron Legacy that was the movie, and this is Tron Uprising.
I don't know, something. Yeah.
Right?
Sorry, guys. It's
whatever.
Late.
One or the other. It's fine. It's Tron. All of you.
It's a good show. The animation style took me a little while to get used to, but it's a great story. It's written really well.
Definitely better than the original Tron, I think. But I do respect the original Tron. It did something different than other movies had at the time. It did something new with computers, with computer graphics. You had never seen something like that before, and I think that's what drew a lot of people into that at the time. And now people are remembering it. It's nostalgia. They loved it. They remember liking it. And the sequel I thought was much better because I saw them both around the same time. I saw the first one when the sequel was coming out. Hadn't seen the first one. Growing up, we didn't have the most money, and now I'm still broke. This is why.
This is why we're broke.
The reasons I'm broke. But check out Tron
Uprising.
Uprising, yeah.
Just go to your DVR and type in Tron.
Beyond is what this is called, because it's pretty much Batman Beyond. Tron Beyond.
It comes on Nickelodeon, doesn't it?
Yep.
No, Disney.
Yeah, it has to be Disney.
It's Disney.
It is late. Did we mention that?
I gotta be up in like 4 hours.
So that we can be slightly less broke.
Yeah. So I can earn money to become broke again.
But we didn't see any movies this week. We're probably going to see Argo tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We'll let you know our thoughts on it. The new episode might be a day late. Definitely check back later this week because I will put up what I think I'm going to call Story Time with Riggs. It's one of my friends. He's coming down from Chicago. He tells some good stories that might not have much to do with comics or video games, but it will be comedy based. So check back if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise on Twitter, I'll put it up there. The Twitter handle is @ReasonsI'mBroke. And once again, let us know what made you broke this week. #ReasonsI'mBroke.
He's forgetting the best part of the show where I talk about my Pokemon.
Oh, that's right. Maybe I'll just edit it in there now. Just put it straight. Your Pokemon journey, how far are you?
I just finished Nimbasa City, the one with the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Is that Nimbasa?
This is Pokemon Black and White 2, by the way.
Yes, I'm sorry. Pokemon Black and White 2. So, just for you guys, I played the game for like 4 hours on my day off. Didn't clean anything, didn't do any laundry. I'm going to have to wear dirty clothes to work tomorrow. But I played Pokemon for 4 hours.
Yep.
I went down in the sewers, which if any of you aren't there yet, the first time you go in the sewers, you're going to go fight Team Plasma. And your rival's going to show up. And he'll be like, hey, let's go fight in Plasma. I'll take care of healing our Pokemon. go and explore that place, because he will heal you after every single battle, fight everybody you can, level grind now, because that place is tough. All those rat-tatas with their hyper fangs and all those Zubats popping out everywhere. Some tough stuff. Anyway, so you have your first really real encounter with Plasma. It's just two random little guys. And then you meet Colorless. What's his name? Chloris? I don't even know.
Not the word for that female body part.
No, not that one. It's Colorless or something.
Chloris.
Stop. That's not even the word.
Close enough.
No, it's not.
Close enough without me having to put an explicit thing on YouTube or...
Anyway, I fought him, and then I went through the desert. I spent like 3 hours exploring the desert. It was a pain in the butt, but I got a Firestone, so now I can evolve my Growlithe in like 10 levels. So that he'll be awesome. And you get to Nimbasa, and of course they have the football stadium now. Did they have that in the last one?
I don't think so.
That was weird. I'm not cool with that. It seems like they're just adding...
There's a tennis court, the football, and there was one more.
Soccer? It seems like they're just adding random things. Like, give me more side missions. Give me more story. Don't give me the Poke Theater and the Poke movies and I don't care about all that. Anyway, I went to the Ferris wheel and tried to meet my boyfriend, but he wasn't there. Some business guy was.
You can romance this time in this game.
Yes, you have one character where if you talk to them
25 times and once a day.
Well, he wasn't over there, so maybe it's not once a day.
Well, I don't know.
Because I talked to everybody over there.
I think they come out in certain seasons also. Is the other thing.
Well, it was spring. You talked to your lady.
Yep.
Why do you get a girlfriend and I don't get anybody?
I don't know. Because I've got one for every season, I guess. In my game. Maybe it's a part of my action replay.
Anyway, if you do go to the Ferris wheel, you can fight somebody new every day. I was hoping it would be in, because last time I was at the Ferris wheel, it was within. But it wasn't. And it was sad. I caught a Sandile, too, to fight the most recent gym leader. She's an electric type, and she wasn't really that hard. I know last time I said that this game was pretty easy. I think I'm still going to stand by that. It's tough to keep up with the levels. The lady I just fought, her highest was a level 30, and I think my highest was like a 24. But I still beat the crap out of her, so I don't know what to think yet. I'll probably come back next time and be like, guys, this is a terrible game. I'm losing. And I know I said I want an action replay, but I lied.
And I'll be like, I have an action replay. You can get your Lapras.
This guy has been tempting me the whole time. He's like, hey, you wanted that Magikarp? I can get you one. It'll take like 2 seconds. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. And he's like, well, what if I just do it on my game and then trade it to you? I'm like, that's the same thing.
I'm like in an alleyway with an overcoat. Like,
yes.
Here's this Magikarp here.
He opens up the coat. Only $500.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you ever go back and play the old games, by the way, buy that Magikarp. That $500 Magikarp is going to be a pain in the ass to train, but when he turns into that Gyarados, you will be unstoppable. It will be worth... I think it took me 10 hours to get him to evolve into Gyarados.
You got to get that shirt with the Magikarp on it that says, I swear to God, when I evolve, I'm going to beat the hell out of all of you.
That was a great shirt. Well, anyway, that's as far as I've gotten. Hopefully later this week I can steal another 3 hours away from the responsibilities of life and get a little bit farther for you guys.
Yep. Once again, find us on Twitter, @ReasonsI'mBroke. Again, let us know reasons you were broke this week. #ReasonsI'mBroke. Let us know how we can improve on this show. We definitely can. This is probably our messiest podcast. We're all over the place.
Well, let's see. It's how early in the morning?
Yeah.
and what's that bottled drink right next to you?
I am drinking a Yingling, and it's good.
Gross. It's disgusting.
Only because I couldn't afford a Blue Moon. Why? Because we're broke. All right. Thanks again for listening. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
Thanks for listening.